Hey guys, this is Blake from Blake's Sanctum, retro site for retro games. Subscribe.
Hey guys, today I am bringing you a new tour video of something absolutely amazing, especially for Star Trek fans. I thought it was going to be years before I'd be able to bring this to you because I didn't think this game would run very well on my computer, but I just decided to buy a copy of Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion and try out the Armada 3 mod, and it works great. Now, while this beautiful intro plays, which is really cool that fans were able to make something this good looking, I'm going to talk about a few things. Now, in this video I'm going to do a tour of what it's like when you start a game and some of the things you need to look at and do and all the cool stuff. And then I'll take you on a tour of each of the races and some of their awesome ships and special weapons, and I'll show you some cool battles, and I'll cover all the races: the Federation, the Klingons, the Romulans, the Cardassians, the Dominion, and the Borg. Now, if you want to skip to any of those moments and you don't want to listen to me prattle on about each and every little thing, then there are time skip links in the video description, and I'll probably be splitting up this video into two parts because there's a lot of depth in this game to cover. So just use the links in the description and on the end card to get to part 2. Now, I've been hearing for years that the Star Trek Armada 3 mod is considered to be the best Star Trek mod ever, which is, it's a big statement, as there's some bloody good ones out there. I wouldn't count my Star Trek Doom one as one of them, but the Star Trek mod for Civilization 4 is pretty bloody amazing if you're a strategy gamer. And there's some I've got a Star Trek gaming website where I list all the best mods out there, and if you know of any I've missed, please let me know. And a lot of people believe that this one trumps all those, and I can now see why. And, I grew up playing the Armada games at the end of the 90s, and being a RTS gamer who loved Command & Conquer and Warcraft and Age of Empires, I was thrilled to see a dedicated Star Trek RTS game, and I played it endlessly. And in the years since, of course, we've never got a third sequel to those great old games, and so it's really great that fans have come along. And there's the brilliant Armada 2 Fleet Ops mod that massively overhauls Armada 2 and really ups the graphics. Regular viewers of my channel will know that I've done a whole series of videos of playing that game because it's so much fun. But all along I secretly dreamed of playing the big Armada 3 mod because I knew it would be the ultimate Armada fan sequel experience, not to mention being an incredible game for our LAN party netbash thingos that I do with my friends. And sure enough, we've had some incredible games, like absolutely unbelievable games. But the only problem is they go for about 10 hours or so that's why I haven't done a video of them. But if you guys really want me to record one of our big matches at James's house with all my mates playing this game, then let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can do one. But anyway, probably the only thing that originally put me off trying was the fact that it is purely a mod of a sandbox RTS game. And I love sandbox games, but normally that's more in the turn-based strategy thing, games like Master of Orion and stuff. And I loved Star Trek Birth of the Federation back in the day. But in an RTS game, I just wasn't sure. But I quickly discovered that even though there's no story campaign in this game, because of the size and scale and sheer quality of this mod and the game it's based on, is that you can almost create your own stories. As you play these games, there's just so many Star Trek races and ships packed into the game that you're just guaranteed that every game you're going to have some kind of freaky memory and moment that you'll always remember when you think back to the game, and so everyone ends up creating their own stories. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game and all its features, I want to show you some of my special memories and moments, such as the first time I built a Galaxy-class capital ship and got to see its beauty next to a starbase. Or the first time I encountered the Borg attacking one of my star bases and I had to send a huge fleet to stop it, including a big Federation Titan, and I had to fight them across multiple systems. Or when I encountered my first random event like GOM2 and it used its shockwave to smash all the ships I had near it. or when I encountered the crystalline entity, or the Echo Papa drone, or when I encountered the Tholians and they put a web around one of my ships and destroyed it instantly. Or the first time I saw my Defiance opening fire, or when I first attacked a Deep Space Nine Terok North station with the Federation fleet and got to see a Galaxy-class starship separating, which I nicknamed "We're going to retake Deep Space Nine." Or the time I encountered the Orion Ship Breakers and they sold me a Constitution-class starship and I got to see it use its original fire. Or the time the Borg assimilated one of my ships and I got to see it changed. All the time I got to play as the Romulans and build a huge scimitar capital ship and see it open its wings and fire its super weapon at a planet. All the time I played as the Klingons, I got to see all the crazy amount of guns on their ships and how they could demolish almost anything. Or when I played as the Cardassians and got to build huge ships and research the ability to summon Species 8472 or destroy an entire planet with a planet killer weapon. Or when I discovered that you don't have to play pure Cardassian, you can tell them to join the Dominion and get a whole different selection of heroes and ships. And of course, all the joys of playing as the Borg, who are just so ridiculously powerful because they can assimilate everything. Planets, ships, people, and they can build a super Titan dreadnought that can one-shot kill everything. Which was funny because then I encountered the Doomsday device from the original series, and can you guess what I sent to take it out? Oh yeah. Showdown of the Doomsday devices. They're just so ridiculously powerful but incredibly fun to play. And this was the final shot I took, which was the perfect way to end my go at this amazing game, and that was destroying a Terok Nord Deep Space Nine station with a Borg fleet. It was definitely a bad day to be on that station. So let's show you the game that created these moments. So let's start a new game. So we're going to go to single player, and yeah, we'll just I'll show you. You can do all these different map sizes. There's all these sort of set kind of scenario like things where you've got set positions for cool scenarios like 359, and but generally I just do random ones, so it's different every time, and you can go right up to large and huge ones with like massive amounts of planets. Random huge. I know I've seen bigger though. Extra vast? There, look at that. Yeah, I mean, one of my mates actually used the map editor that comes with Sins to create like it was like 350 planets or something, and he loaded it up at our LAN party on several computers, and I think they crashed or they just took like half an hour to load the thing. It was hilarious. But you can have some massive games with this thing, so you can really get that sandbox, almost turn-based strategy-like experience with this game if you want, even though it's a real-time strategy game, because you can just, there's so much depth, there's so much size, and you can pause the game, which is nice. So let's just do, we'll do a medium. Random medium, max players 4, and there's a number of different victory things which should be fun. I mean, I just play standard, but I wouldn't mind having a go at the flagship game at some point, where you have to protect every person has sort of like, you know, like a king unit, you know, a flagship that can't be destroyed, otherwise it ends your game. Or you can do it with your capital planet, and then there's Allied victory, occupation, where I think there's like a powerful planet, and you have to work together to, or try to get there first to destroy it. And of course you got your standard diplomatic and research victories, which a bit boring for me. So I'll leave it on that, and there's also a lot of different things you can customize. This game has minor factions these days, thanks to an add-on for the regular Sins game that, of course, the modders took advantage of. So that creates a really cool Birth of the Federation-like experience, and that's a great Star Trek turn-based strategy game from 1999 that I used to play endlessly. And in that game, you used to race to capture all the minor races before the other major factions could, and you'd find yourself collecting them so you could gather all the special abilities that they give you. Well, it's exactly the same in this, and boy, is it fun. And you can increase the amount of fleet sizes and speeds of research, and you know, all that kind of very customized. Turn off the AI surrendering. It drives me nuts when I'm playing a game and an AI surrenders when, like, you know, barely anything has happened to them. So let's start this one, and of course you can pick lots of great Star Trek factions. So of course we've got the Federation, so we'll go as them, as I'm just doing a quick showing a game, and then I'm going to start loading save games to show you guys all the cool ships and battles and things. Klingons, and there's also Romulan and Cardassian, and there's also the Borg, who are of course ridiculously powerful, and every race gets cool hero units based on Star Trek lore and previous Star Trek Armada games. It doesn't really matter, I've only got one more slot to pick, so I'll just go Cardassian. And you can customize symbols. It never defaults to the correct one, so you've got to actually set it up unless you want the wrong one. Like those with a keen eye, when you were looking at some of my memories shots, might have noticed I had the wrong symbols in some of my early shots because I forgot to change that. But you can go in here and set us the right colours. Blue for the Federation, and there's the Federation symbol. Yay, OCD satisfied. I'm going to leave the rest. OCD not satisfied. And of course you've got your difficulty, so that's like medium, and get some is hard, and then of course things get to crazy. Death Wish and Immortal, and why bother? That's funny. What's his name's face there, that alien race who steals things, I remember them. So yeah, you can set that. You can also set what type of AI it is, whether it's strategist, fortifier, scientist. Some of them can be a bit dumb. It's been recommended to me, scientist is a good one, or an economic one as well. I won't bother to mess with anything else. Of course you can set teams if you want. Very fun for LAN parties when you want to work together against the Borg or something like that. And then you get these lovely loading screens where you get lots of quotes from the years and years of Star Trek. And I've been playing this game for weeks and I still get ones I haven't seen before. They have packed so many into it. It's really good. Well, time to stop packing. I remember that scene. He handled it a bit better than Goldacott did. Goldacott, of course, had that mental breakdown. Well, it started with that, and then, of course, it really kicked off when poor Zial got shot by Damar. Alrighty. So, our game has begun. Now, like I said, you can pause it whenever you want. So, see how it says paused up there? And so you can treat it like a turn-based strategy game if you want, if you're not really comfortable with fast real-time strategy games. And of course you've got standard like speed controls and all that kind of stuff as well. And a lot of good sort of turn-based games use that thing in the past, like Imperium Galactica and Ascendancy, and also modern games like Stellaris, I think. So you get a few starting ships, get a few sort of crap cruisers and corvettes and things. We've got some Excelsior classes. Remember them? Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful detail on the models. The only thing, unfortunately, I had to turn down for this video is shadows. So apologies for the bad shadows. But I've got everything else on max detail. And it's not running too badly, despite the fact I'm doing an HD video on a computer that doesn't have a dedicated graphics card. The Intel's powering all this. That's a steam runner, which we know from, I think it appeared in First Contact in the background, I think, and has of course appeared in lots of games since. We've got a construction ship pretty much using the same design used in our Armada games, the official ones. And we've got some Nova class scout ships, which of course we'll recognise this ship from Voyager. The other ship that got trapped in the Delta Quadrant, and these scouts have several special abilities, like they can detect cloaked ships, and you use them for survey. So you give them an order to survey, and you take the pause off, and you'll see they'll now automatically go and explore systems. We've also got a starbase constructor, although that's a regular constructor that builds buildings. We want this one, the special 7S. It builds a giant starbase, and you get one given to you for free. It builds a starbase for free. So normally you'd want to put it next to your construction buildings or your player headquarters. Your player headquarters does not get rebuilt if it gets blown up, so don't let it get blown up. And they've done a cool design actually. It's kind of like a variant of the regular station, which we saw in the early 80s Trek films. Very nice. I like that bloom lighting coming out of that X. Very nice. So it's like a zooped up variant of that, and you actually can build the regular type stations as like a mini starbase. So it's covered in weapons and things. And so our ship's probably exploring while I've been gas bagging. I haven't found much yet. Alright, I'll go back in. And you click on your planet and you've got all sorts of build options. You can build up the civic infrastructure and give it more hit points for bombardment defense, and you can explore a planet. I mean, obviously this is our capital, so it's already, some of these things are already done. But when you start colonizing other planets, you can explore the planet and find cool artifacts and stuff that give you super abilities. You can increase logistics and military developments, and also there are specializations, 3 to choose from. Social, which increases population but hurts shipbuilding and trade, or industry, which of course boosts your production and ship and trade but hurts your population, and smuggling, which sort of just seems to be an alternative income source that the pro players don't seem to recommend you bother with at this point in time. And then once you've got lots of logistics and military logistics points, you can use them to build buildings. This is where you get all your sort of your research stations, your shipyards. It tells you that you've already got some, your mines, which are there on the nearby moons. Every planet normally has a few moons which you can build mining stations on, and they create your resources there. And you can also build trading stations and culture building stations and mining bonus stations. Then over in the military, we've got very sort of traditional Armada 1 and 2 kind of stuff where you build your torpedo and phaser turrets. And also a fighter station the Federation get. That's a unique Federation one. The other races don't get that fighter station. They'll get something else cool usually. And got a repair dock and a big shipyard that builds super dreadnought Titan ships. So that's sort of a thing on planets. And because we've already got a few of the standard shipyards that build corvettes and stuff, you can see all the Federation cruisers. And I'll go through all these ships a bit later and show you them in game. But yeah, this is where of course you build all the stuff you want. This is all the cruisers, and you might see some familiar shapes there, such as the Defiant and the Akira and Voyager. And you also get capital ships. These are your babies. These are the ones that matter, because these are like hero units basically. And this game does have your hero units, by the way. But these are like sub-hero units, where each of them have special abilities that if I take the mouse off it'll go away, but you can see them when I hold the mouse over all those green words: colonize, reinforce shields, last stand, etc. like that. And they have level ups. They gain experience, and you can keep unlocking special abilities on them. And they are much more powerful than the standard starships. So you want to take care of them. You want to develop them. And then finally you get the super dreadnought I mentioned earlier, which is of course similar to these hero ships. It also develops experience, but of course it has incredible abilities, way more powerful than anything else in the fleet. Now those hero units come from your player headquarters, hence why you do not want to lose this building. And the Federation get in Janeway, who's of course on Voyager, Cisco, who's of course on the Defiant, and Captain Picard, who comes in on the Enterprise. And of course it's the Sovereign one with all the similar voice order things you hear in the original Armada games. Federation have a couple of extra things here. Warp in support fleet, warp in venerable fleet, so it's like Klingon allies, which is interesting. You might have to do some special researches and maybe have peace with the Klingon player to get that one, but that's a pretty cool one. As you can see, the giant starbase is under construction and doing well. I'll show you that when it's finished. And finally, before I load a save game, what I'm going to do is I'll just build another couple of Novas, and we'll see what the other ones have been doing. So see if I can show you some other planets. Looks like they found a few systems here. Marginal. I'll send my ships there so you can see what awaits you. A capital ship. A beautiful Enterprise C-style ambassador has been built. Ain't she a beauty? Looking a little better than we're used to seeing her, because of course she was full of holes when we saw her in the show. And I don't think ambassadors appeared much in other shows. I think they did though. I remember one at the Battle of Wolf 359 in the first DS9 episode actually. Did a cool maneuver past the window when Cisco was looking out. I remember a lot of meaningless things in life, don't I? Anyway, let's grab it and send it somewhere so I can show you what it's like. So your scouts are out exploring things. I mean, look at this. Oh god, the Tholians. I think that's, Tholian assembly. Let's do a Tholian web. I'm going to do this for the internet so you guys can see how horrible this thing is. Turn off the auto explore. Watch this, guys. You saw a picture of it earlier. Watch this. This thing is freaking bad. I mean, assuming they don't just shoot it to death before they deploy their web. That might happen. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Isn't this awesome? They've actually implemented the web. Look at it. Closes and boom. Insta-kill. Just kills the ship like that. And then it'll do that to bigger ships too, so you've got to be careful. I don't think it can do it to cap ships though, but it'll do it to everything else. This one's protected by the Breen privateers. So that battle's going to go nuts there. And
we await your command.
Right off the bat, you should get a free ability. Look at this. So these are all the abilities you can unlock. Long-range scans, so it's like free scans of faraway systems, so you don't have to risk your ship going there. Increase your antimatter, which is like your special weapon energy. And reinforced shields, that's a cool ability. It makes the ship recharge its shields really fast and can bring it back to safe health in the middle of a battle. And colonize. Every race has a cap ship that can colonize a planet. You can build colony ships, but it's generally more productive to have a capital ship doing a colonizing for you. Oh, we can't do this one because it needs colonization. Oh, well. You'll have to keep fighting for now. And to do that, you would need to research things. And as you can see, there's lots of research trees. There's the one that unlock your heroes and your ships. There's ones that improve shields and armor and defense. There's ones that boost special energy and give extra special abilities to ships. You've got this whole section that improves. Look at that great picture. You've got one that improves all your star bases and turrets and makes them stronger and allows you to build more. Because of course you get a free one at the start, but you can't build more until you unlock them. You also get the mini regular like outposts as well. And then there's all these wonderful civil ones. Improve your mining, improve your money making. And here's the one we need. For this we need 2 Jupiter type stations. So you would go to your planet and say, I want to build some research stations. You've got the Ares, which is the military, and then you've got the Jupiter, which is the civilians. So you would go, okay, build a couple of them. And you can give orders when something's still under construction, like for something that it affects. So see how it's unlocked, even though the buildings aren't there yet. So this will tell the game. So research that technology the moment those stations are finished. And you've also got foreign consulate, which researches a diplomacy ship that allows you to recruit minor races and also make other big empires like you more. And you can research lots of bonuses if you can establish peace with them. This is crucial. This increases your command size, which gives you more capital ships, and your fleet size, which gives you lots of other ships too. And then finally, super artifacts that you dig up by exploring planets that you colonize appear here, and they have amazing abilities, game-changing abilities. Oh, our starbase is finished. I can show you this one now. Isn't that gorgeous? How good does that look? Look at that. That's a screenshot right there, baby. Look at the nebula and just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And see how there's little shuttlecraft coming out of it. Look at that detail. Isn't that awesome? Little tiny shuttlecraft will fly in and out of the station. There's another one. And they'll fly over to nearby other stations as well. So you'll see them coming out of this one, and you'll see them coming out of the research stations I'm building right now. They are awesome. In fact, you can see some already. Look at them. Although those might be their little construction thingos, actually. Yeah, they are. I spoke too soon. But they'll be built in a second. You'll see their little shuttlecrafts. There's probably a bit of action going on here. I'm not sure if the shipyards have things. Yes, they do. Look at that. Little tiny shuttlecrafts flying around. I love that level of detail. It is absolutely beautiful. And of course the planet looks cool too. Nice details on there. And it's not Earth. You just start on a random planet as the Federation. Presumably trying to make a name for yourself in a faraway sector or something. And of course on the back of the planet you've got all the nice lights of the cities. Very cool. Now, my bloody station's finished yet? Yes, they are. So that should be researching that tech now that we need to get that planet. I should probably go look at the battle. Look at those little shuttlecraft. And they're like, I've a couple of times I've managed to get close and pause the game viewing one, and they got all the details. They're like a standard Federation shuttle. Ooh, the battle doesn't look like it's going very well. I mean, the cap ship's fine, but I think some of our subships have been blasted. Oops, I ordered the Nova Scouts into there. That wasn't meant to happen. You're meant to be exploring things, stuff. So we're trying to get this thing, and then I'll load a save game. Nearly there. So, have we found a minor race or something cool? We did. Look at this. This is an example of a minor race, guys. I have found Section 31. And they get 2 abilities you can see there on the left side. Covert espionage and sabotage activation. These are some deadly abilities that allow you to look on any system and destroy any sort of ship in station that's not not critical, like I think either a cap ship or like a starbase or something you can't destroy. But you can destroy any sort of corvette or cruiser or any sort of factory station or research station. So it's a deadly ability they have. And to capture them, I would research the diplomacy ship you saw earlier, and I would send it there and capture them with that ship, and then they would be under my control. So, we got the tech, right.
All crew stand ready.
So this is how you colonize a planet. He's used the ability, so now it's got to cool down for a bit. Oh, and a lot of Federation ships have fighters too, so look at this. Runabouts, remember them? And those are the fighters often used by Maquis, and also the Federation fleet used it in Deep Space Nine, so that is legit. And now that we're on there, so it's you can see it's 90% to the allegiance because it's nearby my capital. You're going to need culture buildings to improve allegiance in faraway ones. Planet health will keep building, and to grow the population and to get money, it's actually draining our money right now. That's how underdeveloped it is. So you would increase the civic infrastructure to reduce the money loss. You would explore the planet to look for artifacts or mini special abilities that boost the planet. All sorts of stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much a tour of the game and the sort of a bit of a general thing on how it works. Now let's load some save games and look at some cool stuff. Okay, so here's a save game from a big Federation game I played. And at this moment I appear to be fighting the Borg. This was a multi-solar system game, so look at this. Multiple solar systems filled with planets. I pretty much kicked ass and bullied most of the races back. The Klingons are here, and the Cardassians were here. They've got look at that Gul Dukat and some Cardassian heroes. They didn't go the Dominion route in this game. And then down here, I think these guys did go the Dominion route. So down here, there's they get to keep Gul Dukat, but their next heroes are like the Breen guy and Wayun. But they don't have them because I've bullied them too much. I guess they must have recently killed them. And there was also a solar system here where I was sort of colonizing, but there didn't seem to be any AI villains there. A few minor races though. But let's go back to here where I was fighting the Borg. So this should be good. Look at this, a huge Borg starbase. Absolutely massive, this thing. And I've got a big Federation fleet attacking it. And now it's probably going to jerk a bit because there's so many assets and I'm recording a video. But you can see it's already blown up a number of my ships. Look at the debris from these Akiras, and there's a Defiant or something there, I think. And this is the Federation Titan. They get 2 Titans. This one's more of a defensive tank kind of one that'll give buffs to your whole fleet's defensive strength. They also get another one which is quite, I think, more popular with the pro players, called the Polaris, which can stop time and duplicate itself and has all these cool weapons on it. So yeah, it's I'm more of a tank defensive player, so I love this one. But God, there's so many ships here. So if I grab the fleet, I've got, look at this. This is a Sovereign. Not the Enterprise, that's somewhere else here in the battle, I think. But look at the detail on it. Isn't it a beautiful model? And it gets some pretty cool special abilities. This fire at will and stuff with targeting and fleet bonuses. And of course it's got the Corbomite reflector used in the Armada games that reflects some of the enemy fire. Where's Captain Picard? There's Captain Picard's Sovereign. Beautiful ship. Beautiful. And we've got Janeway on Voyager. Where are you, Janeway? There she is. So all you Voyager fans, you'll love this. Beautiful model, beautiful details. Janeway's got some excellent abilities. She's the first hero the Federation gets, and I think her abilities make her better than a lot of the other races' starting heroes, in my opinion. She launches probes that increase targeting, I think, and they become targets. They lure enemy fire away. She has the tactical holofleet. Remember that episode where they used it on the Kazon? These guys will take huge amounts of enemy fire away from your fleet. Super useful in the early game when you're trying to clear out systems. They also have this cool thing that makes the ship super strong, which I think is based on the futuristic upgrades Voyager got in the final episode. And who else? Cisco on the Defiant. Gotta have a look at him, don't we? Very small model, but they've still managed to pack a lot of detail into it, which is awesome. Very nice, isn't it? Look at that. It's even got the glow. And we've got to have a look at the Galaxy class, don't we? Where's our Galaxy class? That's a fighter ship. We've got a good old Phoenix sort of variant of the Nebula. There's a few different Nebula classes. This one's very good because it boosts shield and armor recovery, so I usually have a bunch of them in the fleet. There's a Galaxy. Here we go. Beautiful ship. Look at that. Isn't she great? Oh. And this is one of the first cap ships you get after the Ambassador. So it's such a lovely moment when you get the Galaxy, because that model is outstanding. And let's unpause and see these ships doing their thing, shall we? So look at this, we're fighting a huge Borg station here. These Borg stations are way more powerful than the ones other races can build. You require huge fleets to bring them down. They can assimilate. They have a horrible special ability that allows them to assimilate your own damn ships and turn them against you. Borg ship there. Oh, look at this! Prometheus! Did you see that? Pause. Can't miss that. The Prometheus from Voyager. The ship that splits into 3 parts. Getting a little too close there, but look at that. It does it in the frigging game. How cool is that? I love it. I love it. And the Galaxy class will separate too, as you saw in that picture earlier. Look at that. It has. There we go. There, look at that. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? Beautiful. Very good. Isn't that awesome? So Orion using the white reflector. I've got some ambassadors there using its shield booster. And Galaxy class ships have like a torpedo. I'd have to put the ship back together to get to see the ability, sadly. I can hit that though and they'll do it. Ha! That's right. The game doesn't have the reconnecting sequence, so they just warp out and the regular Galaxy appears back in the... Oh no, it does, that's right, it has to warp in to do it. It's just a an issue they can't do anything about. Look at this. Boom! Back together. Not perfect, but pretty friggin' cool. So the Galaxy class has the ability to do the antimatter spread. Remember that from Best of Both Worlds. There's the source of separation we already know about, which makes it temporarily invulnerable, which of course is not entirely realistic, but cool anyway. Oh, look at my Akira. Look at that. It's in pieces. This game has beautiful damage modelling. It has a tachyon beam, also from Best of Both Worlds, where they use the deflector dish as a huge energy weapon. And photon torpedo volley, so it fires torpedoes at multiple targets. Very useful. And you've already seen Federation star bases, so what else is there to show you? Really, probably not much else other than maybe I'll show you some of the cool minor races. Who have I got control of? Got control of the Bajorans. Sorry, the Marquis. Close enough. The Marquis can target of opportunity, so you can get them to attack someone for you. You can also, what was it, damage output versus structures bonus to your whole fleet temporarily. Anyone else cool? That's the Bajorans down there, currently under the control of the Klingons, which I'm sure they just love. Those are Orion pirates who will attack you, and these are the Hirogen hunters from Voyager. And they have a similar sort of raiding party. You can get them to attack a planet for you, and they also have a thing that increases your warp drive speed, because they of course have that giant empire to get around. I guess that's why they picked those. What about here? More Hirogen, and Oh, the Orion Ship Breakers. This was awesome because they gave me a Constitution class starship, because they can give you old spaceships, Starfleet graveyard, and they'll bring some old ships for you to play with, which is pretty cool. So I've just paid for it and they've warped in. Let's have a look at him. Constitution refit. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Oh, we got a Constitution class in the 24th century. Yeah. And when she fights, she, as you saw in that picture, she actually fires the proper torpedoes and phasers from that era, not the 24th century stuff. You're not going to see her firing quantum torpedoes or some crap. It's authentic. Very cool. I love it. Also, it looks like we got given some more over there, some more Constitutions and some variants. There are many variants of the Reliant class. Very good. Look at that, one's covered in guns. Cool. Soyuz class. And of course, even, it doesn't have to be just capital ships. Even a lot of these smaller corvettes and things will have special abilities. The Connie doesn't, sadly, but every ship has a special ability. This is a strike cruiser which has transporter guys that can beam across onto things. The Defiant can lay mines. The Akira has its multi-enemy weapon that, just like in the original Armada games, that gets more and more powerful each target it hits. Every weapon has an ability. That's a siege ship, which is pretty cool. So a lot of this stuff is based off ships from the show and also sort of official sort of video games and fan content and stuff like that. So you've got very comprehensive ship libraries for every race. So let's get on to another faction, shall we?